All right, here we go. Question number 9 of our college algebra homework number 6 in MyLab Math wants us to graph, and we have an exponential function with a base of e, and we know that this is exponential because we have a variable in the exponent position. And so all we have to do is pick the correct graph. So over here, I'm going to show you how to generate the graph manually. We're going to verify with Desmos, and then I may have a special treat where I show you some cool features with the scientific calculator that I prefer. All right, so let's get started. In order to graph any function, really, but an exponential function, the first thing I want to remind you of is that every exponential function has a horizontal asymptote, okay? And the horizontal asymptote occurs at the constant. So our horizontal asymptote is going to be y equals -2. And if we go ahead down here to the graph, at -2, we know that we're going to have a line that the graph is never going to cross. It's going to approach this line but never touch or cross it. So there's our horizontal asymptote. The next thing I need to do is generate a table of values so that I have some points to plot. Now I'm going to go with -1, 0, and 1. Those are usually good points to start with. And then we're going to plug them in and see what we get, okay? So using our handy dandy calculator, if we want to do e to the -x minus 2, shift ln gets our e to the. Now I want you to notice that the exponent has a negative. That's negative on the x. And here the first x we're going to plug in also has a negative. So that'll be a negative times a negative, which will actually make that +1 minus 2. And that gives us 0.7 approximately. So that's going to be 0.7 for our y value. Okay, then we need to do e to the 0 minus 2. I don't even need the calculator for this one. Anything to the 0 power is 1. 1 minus 2 is -1. And then if I plug in +1, that's going to give us e to the, remember there's a negative here, so that's going to make it -1 minus 2. And that is approximately -1.6 rounded, -1.6. All right, so there's some values that we can use the plot. Now for the cool stuff. If you have this particular calculator, this is one of my favorites. This is, just so you know, this is the Casio FX. In the stores, it's the 991EX Class Whiz. This has a cool feature. If you go to the menu and scroll down, there is a table option, table. And so we're going to hit equals to select. It's going to ask us for our function, which is shift ln e to the negative, and then here's an x. It's in red, so we need to hit alpha for that. E to the -x minus 2. If I hit equals, it'll also do another function, but I don't have another function, just f of x. So we hit equals, and then it says, where do I want my x's to start and where do I want them to stop? Well, if we just want to check these values, I want it to start at -1, and I want it to stop at 1. The step is how much it increases or increments. So I want it to go -1, 0, and 1. That would be an increment of 1 each time. And do you see it actually generates the table that I have created over here? So the calculator has the ability to generate your table of values for you. All you have to do is input the function into the calculator. All right, so that's just a cool thing about the calculator I wanted to point out. So these are my values. Let's plot those points and play connect the dots. All right, so at -1, I'm at 0.7. At 0, I'm at -1. And at 1, I'm at negative 1.6, which is down here. And what we can see is we can see that this graph is going to be curving down into these points and approaching our asymptote, something like that. So that's going to be probably what the graph looks like. Let's check with Desmos. We have f of x equals e to the negative x minus 2. And again, if I put in my asymptote, which is y equals negative 2, we can see that this picture looks, well, it looks a whole lot like what I drew, which over here on MyLab Math looks a whole lot like answer B. Bam! So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.